Welcome to another conversation off the clock. Hi, I'm Karmina Constantino-Torres.
And this is Casey After Hours.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to thank all of you. I know it's a Saturday and mas marami tayong pwedeng ibang gawin on a Saturday, but the fact that you guys are here makes me feel kabado. Makes me feel really I don't even know the word that would describe how I'm feeling, but I really appreciate each and every one of you. So ngayon, as promised, we're going to give some of you the chance to ask questions. And the first one na nangahas na magtanong.
Hi po, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Miss Casey. I'm Sola po. What message do you have po for aspiring journalists, take for example campus journalists, who really want to pursue the craft po and who really love it so that they will have like an inspiration because they look up to journalists like you po?
Dun sa mga campus journalists who aspire to become journalists, in the future as a profession, I don't think I need to say anything else to sort of prop them up and to sort of push them. Kasi alam kong hindi yun ang problema. Ang problema kung anong sasabihin ng magulang. And it's usually that case because parents have this misimpression of what journalists are. Una-una, walang pera. Totoo naman yun. Wala talagang pera. That's why I always say, first of all, enter the industry with your principles intact, your values intact. You know yourself well, na kung makikilala mo man yung sarili mo pa in the future, makakadagdag na lang yon. Pero yung foundation nandun na. But the most important thing, I guess, is for you to have a side hustle that would make you financially independent. Hindi side hustle na naririnig natin ngayon na extortion na pala yung nangyayari. But, be financially independent so that, and there will come a time when you would have to choose between integrity, and just doing something that you don't want to do, you can easily walk away. Na pwede mo yung gawin. Kasi ganun din po yung nangyari sa lolo ko nung nagsusulat siya sa Manila Chronicle before. And he was writing scathing commentaries. And the owners then shut the doors on him. Pero hindi siya natinag. Patuloy pa rin siyang nagsulat by way of essays and whatever. And the book, A Pastor Visited. Kasi nga, nagkaroon sila ng enough of a foundation to just walk away and still be consistent with fighting for country and her people.
I'm Ronnie Abad. I'm one of the interpreters po nyo sa Daytime Philippines way back in 2020. So ang tanong po is, in a time when facts are constantly attacked and journalists are often discredited, how do you keep asking hard questions without losing faith in the public's ability to listen?
Hindi ko siya iniisip. I think I'm stubborn that way, that I just believe so much in the cause and the importance of journalism and the impact it has on moving this country forward, that I don't even think about may taga-salo ba. Kasi yun naman yung simula nating lahat eh. I didn't know you were there. But I just kept on keeping at it. Kasi pag inisip ko, halimbawa, may makikinig ba? Is there anyone who's going to listen to even the question that I asked or the answers that will be given? It's counterproductive, diba? But ako, like a dog to a bone, sige lang ako ng sige. And I think you are proof that it's working. Paminsan sa mga live natin sa YouTube, merong mga naliligaw, di ba? Di ba? May mga naliligaw na gustong i-propagate ang kanilang propaganda. Pero sige lang tayo ng sige. in the hopes na maintindihan nila na yung trabaho natin hindi para dun sa mga kaalyado, kakulay, pero para sa lahat. I think it's very important, Ronnie, to stress that, what we do, even if they claim that it's not for them, is really for them. Dahil ang pinaglalaban naman namin hindi lang dun sa mga dun sa mga naniniwala sa amin, pero mas pa dun sa mga hindi naniniwala.
Hindi ko po kasi nakuha ang sagot na ito nung in-interview ko kayo. You've been in the industry for 30 years. 6 years after the shutdown of ABS-CBN, marami nagtatanong, you had a number of offers, but why did you choose to stay with ABS-CBN?
Because I love ABS-CBN. It's the first job that I've ever had. It's the longest relationship. Mas matagal pa ako na nasa ABS kaysa kasal kami nung asawa ko. Maraming mga bubog, meron ding mga hinanakit, merong hindi pagkakaintindihan, but I choose to be with ABS-CBN in the same way that I will always choose to be with family. I think you followed me long enough to know that for me, it's family over everything. And it's the same with ABS, na even if there are days na alis ako dito, hindi na ako babalik. In the end, it's really all about family. Like, this is the family that I choose to have. Iba yung pamilyang pinanganak ka, 'di ba? Pinanganak ka sa loob ng isang pamilyang to, pero ito yung pamilyang pinipili ko at piliin ko. And I've already talked to my husband about it, na it's going to be the first and last news entity that I will ever associate myself with. Victoria Yang came all the way from Zamboanga. Siya yun!
Oh my gosh. So, you had multiple pregnancies. So, that means like different experiences. And syempre, the postpartum. How did you handle the postpartum? Kasi diba, postpartum, like you have to take care of yourself while taking care of a baby.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. In my case kasi, okay, when I had the twins, I had them in the States. I had no family there. And I worked right away. Hindi pa naghihilom yung sugat ko, tumatawag na yung mga boss ko sa TFC na mag-report na daw ako. That was barely like 2 months. I must admit, because of the busyness of life in the States, hindi ko siya naisip. With Mateo, my third boy, the challenge then was, I can't, because I have the 2 other kids to take care of, and this newborn. Diba? So, hindi ko rin siya maisip. And then when Tizia came, mind you, between Teo and Tizia, I had 4 failed pregnancies. So, mabigat siya. But when Tizia came, because I gave birth to her in the middle of a raging pandemic, and at that time it was all about, taking care of yourself and all that, mas nabigyan ko ng panahon yung sarili ko. Only because lang gagawin kasi you were stuck there, di ba? But I think hindi siya mangyayari yung paghilom, no? Because it's a heaviness that you feel after, di ba? And it's also parang iba yung postpartum, iba pa yung how do I get back to the life that I once had? So in a way, you're grieving also. You're never gonna heal unless your partner is in on it. Ako, I'm very fortunate to have such a loving husband na paminsan iniisip ko pa lang, nasasabi na niya. Because he really takes care of me on so many levels. And he asks me what's on my mind. And I'm able to say it because he's my safe space. At pag nasabi ko na I'm feeling this way or that, then comes the nurturing, ganyan. Kasi mahirap mong alagaan yung sarili mo eh. Kasi alagaan mo pa yung bata, di ba? So, to know that someone else will be taking care of you, that helps a lot.
Thank you, Miss Casey. Congratulations on 30 years.
Thank you.
It's a very long time. You know, someone as huge as you, an icon in what she does.
No.
Di ba icon siya, guys?
No.
But even in other industries, sobrang hirap maka-reach ng 30 years in what you do. Like, even me, I'm just like, fresh out of school 3 years ago. Right now, I'm doubting myself na para dito ba ako in this industry? So, my question would be, did you ever doubt yourself? And what made you stay in this path that you're doing now?
I never doubted myself because I think I really found something that I'm happy when I'm doing it. So, I doubt some of my colleagues, pero hindi like parang kaya ko pa bang makaharap sila yung mga ganyan. But not in me, not in, kasi for me it's more than a job, I think. And I've said this so many times, like it's a duty for me, and if it's a duty, would you doubt that? I take pride in being one of the granddaughters of Renato Constantino and Leticia Ross Constantino and the proud bunso of RC and Dudi Constantino. And I know what they've done to help this country move forward. And dala-dala ko yun eh. And pag dala-dala ko yun, walang puwang para magkaroon ng second thoughts in what I do. So that's me. I'm really happy going to work every day. Like I really enjoy what I do.
Hi, Casey.
Hello.
Some of us have read your decades-old blog.
Oh my gosh.
Even before I think you got married.
No,
Have
it
you
was
read
when
that?
I got married.
During that time, you were blogging regularly. Some months you have skipped. Was there ever a time that you envisioned that you would come back home and do this thing?
This one?
Yes.
No.
Not at all?
No. When I started my blog called Walking on Walnut, it was when I was newly married. And nakalagay dun sa description, di ba? Fish out of water, trying to build her new pond and whatever. Because by the time, when I married Noel, tall guy, I was already a decade into my job. And all of a sudden, being uprooted and not knowing what to do. Of course, TFC was there and I was doing correspondence work for TFC and I covered the East Coast. So that's Washington, Philly, and New York. And the stories were few and far between. So there's plenty of time to like recalibrate and do something. Diba? Read a book, or be a homemaker and all that. But I didn't want to let go of the writing and the chronicling and all that. So I started that. But it was more for me to cope, for me to sort of to help me navigate my new life. It was more like that. This one, si tall guy talaga to. I never, siya talaga, because nga, it was either I was gonna get fired, I was gonna quit, or something bad was gonna happen again. And he didn't want that to happen. He knows how hard I have worked, and sabi niya, I cannot let that happen. Now one day you'll just wake up and the thing that you've loved doing all these years will just be, will be gone. And then nga he said, why don't you start a podcast? And then I said, no, I don't want to, because it's an animal that I didn't know. Like, I don't know. Ngayon lang naman ako nakikipag-usap sa inyo na may tao sa harap, diba? Like, before, it's just a camera and, I do documentaries or do special reports and all that, but not this. And I didn't know the medium. Lumang tao nga tayo, diba? So tentative, so apprehensive about it. And then he said, just try. And then I said, okay, so I'll just try. And then he said, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, but just try. So get a team together, and then set a meeting, and then we'll do it. Sabi ko sa kanila, lika. And then sabi naman nila, okay. And then tall guy met them, and then this is it. And then of course, there's you guys. So actually, you guys made this happen. It wasn't me. I mean, because you chose to watch every single thing that we put out there. That's why this happened. But if it weren't for you guys, none of this would have happened. So thank you so much. Thank you.
I am Isaiah Otero, and I'm actually a fan of traditional media. Ano po ang saloobin niyo sa colonial mentality ng mga Pilipino, and how do you use your influence or live by the values from Renato Constantino's patriotic essay, The Miseducation of the Philippines?
It's not a particular work of my lolo, but I live by the person that he was and the legacy that he left behind. So hindi siya nakapaloob sa isang sinulat niya, pero dun sa body of work niya. So whether it's miseducation of the Filipino people, whether it's veneration without understanding, past revisited, continuing past, kung bakit niya sinulat yon, kung bakit sila at ng lola ko ginawa yung ginawa nila, yun actually yung motivation ko to keep on doing what I'm doing. Colonial mentality, parati natin yan naririnig. Akala natin tapos na tayo doon. Pero pag nagmatsyag tayo ng maigi, most of it really is still there. 'Di ba? Yung pagiging subservient natin sa mga mas malalaking bansa na hindi man lang tayo lalaban. Or kailangan ba parating kailangan may kakampi? Hindi ba pwedeng tayo mismo ang tumindig? Parati bang kailangan may rest back? Hindi ba pwedeng tayo lang? Patuloy ako naniniwala na hahantong tayo sa isang bukas na wala na yun sa sistema natin, and that's why I continue to do what I do.
First of all, congratulations on 30 years in the
Thank you.
business.
Thank
and
you.
With these 30 years, I'd say that you've done lots of interviews, especially with political figures. Where do you actually draw the line between telling objective stories and actually, some people call it giving the
platform, the
these
airtime.
selfish figures the platform to spread their propaganda, because it is your duty,
Yeah.
because you should be impartial, diba?
Yeah.
But I know that it's difficult because you are also subject to people, saying that you should have done that, but you have no choice but to give people both sides of the story.
Yeah. One particular interview comes to mind, and just Google it or search it, and medyo recent siya na interview. So I booked this guest. I won't name names, but I'm sure you know. So I texted him personally. I invited him personally on the show. But there was a whole discussion with management, and they were telling me not to have that person on the show. And I stood my ground. I said, who's going to challenge them? Right? So for me, it's not about putting these guys on air and giving them the platform, but I see it as me challenging their narrative. Kasi po, pag umi-ere po sila in whatever streaming platform, whether they do it on Facebook or on YouTube, and then they have their captured audience, walang nagcha-challenge. Diba? They're free to spew whatever it is that comes out of their mouths and to their captive audience. Yun ang mali eh. So my duty, and this is where it comes in, my duty is to challenge. And if it's going to happen by way of them coming to the show, then it has to happen. So long story short, nagsigawan kami. Nagsigawan kami nung producer ko, and by kami, I mean me, because I had to perform my duty. It's more to challenge. diba? Not to give them airtime, but it's more to challenge. And in the end, I did it. I did my job. I challenged. Of course, they spun it some other way, but the other side, saw it for what it was and what it is. But yeah, so for me, it's a no-brainer. If the people are gonna benefit from it, I'm gonna do it. It's not about wag na lang kasi hindi yan yung paniniwala ko eh. Pero meron kasing naniniwala sa kanila eh.
Yeah.
'Di ba? At naniniwala sa kanila kasi yun lang yung nandun. Walang nagtatanong, walang nagcha-challenge. And I feel that's my duty.
Alright, so first of all, congratulations, Miss Casey, to
Thank you.
30 years of relentless journalism. Palakpakan naman natin si Miss Casey.
Nahiya na ako, guys.
Siguro I want to know what's your message to those like me and also like you, to like us na who are very defiant of the status quo that we have now.
First, the message is thank you, because things won't move forward if there weren't those who dissent. So, continue dissenting.
Yeah.
Tama ba itong sinasabi ko sa inyo?
Tama, Miss
Pero,
Casey.
and I think if you followed me long enough, you know that, I've said this many times, that if there's an opportunity to make things right, then you take it, right? So you just do it. Continue being defiant. Continue to have that legitimate dissent. Continue to, yes, respect authority, but never be afraid to question it.
authority.
Ayun. Tingnan mo. Yeah, so, ganon. But your position would also entail a lot of empathy.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're in that position, wag mo kalimutang tingnan sila kung sino man ang makakasalimuha mo bilang tao. Because most of what we see are really just projections of who they are and their background and what happened to them, and maybe their day was bad and whatever, right? So itao sila, tauhin sila, 'di ba? Huwag kalimutan 'yon. But just continue to just be there, defiant, and to see things beyond how they appear to be, because nothing really ever is so clear. Everything is opaque, and you just have to go through the layers.
Thank you, Ms. Casey, for
Saan?
what you do for the country. And I think for me, medyo at a certain point, I was like, lalaban ba talaga ang media after nung nangyari sa inyo? And then I saw you just being a queen, like slaying all these dragons. And parang, because I study memes, so I was like, ooh, fun. So parang,
Pinagtawanan niyo ako. Or naaliw ko kayo.
naaliyo, tapos napag-aralan. How has being a fangirl, or what has being a fangirl taught you about the joy of living life?
It's something that I never really expected to happen to me, because if you know me, I'm like very structured. It's like family, work, family, work, family, 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 work. Tapos biglang nag-BTS. So I was like, what is this, right? And I think that was part of it. It was breaking the routine, and it was giving myself that time and freedom to just really enjoy something that I never thought that I would find myself in. And of course, it won't be possible without the support of my husband. Kasi si tall guy, naaliw siya. Naaliw siya pag naaliw ako. Naaaliw siya seeing me so happy. I'm so empowered now to enjoy life. And that's what BTS does for me.
Kinakabahan ako, my goodness.
Ano nangyayari?
Kinakabahan ako. Kasi first time ko na, I mean, this is the very first time na nagtatanong po ako sa harap ng crowd.
O sige, huwag mo sila pansinin.
Opo. Kilala po kayo bilang may reputation na katulad na nandun sa t-shirt ng Linya Linya, mataray, maldita, masungit. Ma'am, ang tanong namin sa inyo is what separates a tough interviewer from someone who's just performing toughness?
Ako kasi pinalaki ko na bale wala sa akin yung machismo eh. Natatandaan ko, sinabi yan sa akin ng kuya ko na hindi ito mundo ng mga macho. So for me, the more macho the guy, the more ekis sa akin. Pero meron naman talaga mga macho, 'di ba? Pero at the end of the day, anong silbi? 'Di ba? Kung hindi mo naman natutulungan yung bayan sa pagkamacho mo.
Correct po.
Like these days, yung mga nagtatapang-tapangan, kailangan magtanong kung bakit sila nagtatapang-tapangan. Dahil ba may backer sila? 'Di ba? Dahil ba may nagbayad sa kanila para maging matapang? Kasi pag ang sagot ay oo, hindi yan tunay na matapang. They're just being brave for someone, something. They're being brave for their bank accounts, 'di ba? Cool kasi tingnan. Pero dapat dyan, kailangan, pag matapang ka para sa bayan, hindi para sa kung ano man.
Dearest Constants, thanks for celebrating my 30th year with me. Thanks for making that Saturday afternoon extra special. The community we continue to build never ceases to amaze me, and it is something that I will always be proud of. Thank you for your support. Thanks for keeping it constant. Massive thanks as well to Linya Linya for hosting our live podcast. Itong Linya Linya, gets namin ang isa't isa. For country and her people, always. I'll see you on the next one.